welcome everybody to the stream today. I just had more pasta. I seem to maybe be a little bit addicted to having a lot of pasta at the moment. I would like to go out and first say right at the top, Budini, you are first in the chat. Well done. How is everybody? We've got Casual Gamer, welcome. Crownless, welcome back. We've got Fregel. Anyway, we've also got IM3 Firebird. We've got Turbo Duck NG. Well Soon Mayhem Entertainment, welcome back. Error, I'm not going to pronounce the rest of your name. We've also got, what was that, Cap something or other? Cap 7... Captain Skull. I had to do a little bit of the lead speaker translation there. Welcome, Lost GPS, how's it going? Toby45, welcome. And Ruben. If anybody else is looking for other automation YouTube content creators, Ruben also makes YouTube videos. Merry old cast day. There's a lot of old casts today, which is lucky because that's what BeamNG deals with the best. Remember they called me small man because I'm 11. No idea. Sorry about that. Arda the boy, welcome. Arda, how's it going? Yes, lots of old cars. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the majority. Technically, it's like just the majority by one car. Top right looks really good. Really? I mean, when we get a little bit closer, you'll see that unfortunately they haven't really done a lot to bring out the three-dimensional nature of more modern supercars. Not bad, but I feel that most of that is unfortunately the body. Last stream with the electric van? Okay. What? Oh yeah, the bow tie is now white. Yes, you're in your second month. Thank you very much. Get in there, 86. Huh? Top left looks really good. Top left, I think, actually looks rather interesting. We'll get to it, though. My junker stands out a fair bit. I'm assuming yours is the one top left, then, if you're saying junker. Welcome, Nat64 and Beambreaker. Welcome as well. Toon Verbuggin, welcome to the stream. The wheels on that Bugatti Grand Prix car look so out of place. I totally agree. Those wheels, if you don't know which one they're talking about this one. Big, massive alloys? Like, if you were strapped for wheel choices, you could do that, but make them look as if maybe they were meant to be wooden wheels or something. Like, that doesn't look right at all. You see the white Chaser right there? It does look a lot like a Toyota Chaser. I was trying to figure out what it was that it reminded me of. Just gonna move it into place quickly. Does it turn on? Is my mouse working? No, apparently it doesn't want to turn on. I don't know. Controls aren't working right now. There's a Gremlin in your stream. I think it's a pretty cool looking vehicle. Even though we never got AMC here in Australia, I do think that they are a rather interesting brand. Welcome DC to the stream. Okay, so I basically finished my fan car thing. I got it around the Nürburgring in 3 minutes flat. Oh my god. Would have been much faster if I didn't make mistakes. Automation test track in 45 seconds. My goodness. You love automation, I'm just not skilled enough to have the patience to make highly detailed as these cars. You don't have to be as skilled as these guys. But, thinking about things is really what helps the most. Like, looking at reference images, stuff like that, really, really helpful. I cannot... Like, if you're struggling to know what to do next, look at a lot of reference images and try to replicate things. That's a good way to start broadening your horizons. Top left is yours? Good. Hey, Fanny Faxbear, how's it going? I'm assuming stopping around for a couple of seconds again. Let's start having a look at the cars that we've got this week. And first up is this big land yacht looking thing. Skibidi-boo! Welcome! That's a good tip, I'll keep that in mind for sure. Hopefully that does the results that you want. This looks fairly good on the front, except you've mixed round and square at the same time, which wouldn't be so bad if it didn't end up with this like weird artifacting. What you could have potentially done here is either used a round grill section for that, or have the corner lights, or the light on the edge here, be just big enough that it touches the lip, like, covers the lip of the top of the light, top of the grill, then use some patchwork, cut that part of the grill out, then use, more patchwork to fill it back in, so then it, doesn't have weird artifacting or look very strange from this angle, because this angle right here, not particularly great, and that gives you a shape and whatnot. But yeah, I'm also... This isn't a single fixture. This is actually... You've decided to make the grill this shape. Confusing. Very confusing. I'm finding the Le Mans a bit tricky, but I think sub 140 is on the cards. Okay. Have you seen a Bugatti? Not in real life, no. I'm from South Australia, not a particularly wealthy place. You want me to have a look to see what a 1940s Bugatti looks like? Probably earlier than that, but let's have a look. 1940s Bugatti. There we have wire wheels. Let's go one earlier. Oh wait, here we go. Type 51. Let's have a look. TYPE 51. That is peculiar. What even is that? You know, I now think I have seen this before. I still don't know what these wheels are. I think they're punch steel, maybe? Very strange. They look very out of place. What even is that? That's strange. Alright. I retract my statement in that if I said anything bad about it. I will, however, maintain my statement that I think they look out of place, even if that's actually what they had. My bad. You've seen an EB110 in real life. Oh, awesome. That's one of the few cars which I had as a kid growing up as like a toy. I had a kit that you build. Loved it. Why does it have modern wheels? I don't understand. I don't think it's modern wheels. I think it's like punch steel or something. Or probably shaped steel. Probably not aluminium. Probably very heavy steel. Look at Reddit, I sent car. Alright, let's have a quick look. A few people made mistakes. So let's go Arda. Nope, nobody with the name Arda submitted a car this week. So, unfortunately, no, you didn't submit a car. Well, look at the wheel truck on that boat. Wheel truck? Huh? Let's go in and see what we've got on here. Drum brakes on the front. On a big land yacht. Oh boy, these are gonna cook. But it is to be expected. What is that? Is that meant to be the hinge? Oh, okay. They've tried to put hinges there. Usually cars, like normal cars that is, don't have exposed hinges for two different reasons. One is from really early on in the car manufacturing era, there was already aerodynamics being a big role in things, so they would not want to have them exposed. The other reason why you wouldn't see exposed hinges is for safety reasons. A lot of older pins, you could like punch the pin out and the door would just basically fall off. Though these are more latch style, but sure. You didn't make it, Cap? Alright, let's have a look at if anybody with the name Cap submitted. Nobody with the name Cap submitted a car. Let's just make sure this is working. I am... Yep, okay. I am 3, like, that comes up. How about drifting... Oh, drilling the hinges and removing the door? Sure. Press F5 on Reddit? That'll refresh it. Why would I do that? Anyway, let's have a look at the suspension we got in here. We got a double wishbone suspension and a very set-back engine. So... most cars, though I know that this is probably the default way in which the car was exported and whatnot, or created, whatever, a lot of the engines would sit over the front axle, which would give a much softer and understeery ride. Softer being quite important, understeering being also even more important due to the whole nature of cross-ply tires. You didn't really like cross-ply tires, but they were really the only option. It's like up there? Is your name Cap7 Ain Skull in... Oh, sorry, Captain Skull. Is that what it is in Reddit? Your internet is trash? It keeps disconnecting. Oh dear. Brofil would have loved it. Sure, sorry about that, Flamesy. You... like to... Well, I'm sorry. Nobody with that name submitted a car, because nothing came up when I searched. Oh wait, no, it is here. Why didn't that show up? Oh my god, Reddit sucks. Okay, let's have a look. This car. Okay, I think I... What was it about this one? I think I skipped this one so then I could get a different car in. Did I not have this one? Oh, you know what? Actually, I was going to do this one, but then I miscounted. Yeah, the reason why I skipped that one is because I really wanted to have this car in. And I'm thinking that this car, looks-wise, might be my favorite this week. So we'll see when we get around to that one. Alright, let's see if we can find Arda then, since this is being such a poopy brain. EJBMX, please learn how to send car files, not .car files. Even if you zip your .car file, that's still a .car file in a zip folder. EJBMX, Mozan, Cap7, Lazy Shifter, Rabby, EJ, Toilet, Yug, Itched, Nat64, Ebags. What are we looking for Arda? I see nobody here with the name Arda that sent a vehicle. Can you send link? No. Apparently you can't. When I tried to open a car that is not detailed, it worked. Then I made more detailed car and wanted to go out with the mods. Oh yeah, also, I wanted to say another thing. With EJBMX, your first car used zipped a .car file, which was weird. The other one, here we go. I want to show people this. Because this is weird, and this is why I skipped this one. 202 megabytes. What have you done? How? How is that a thing? What? Why? Why is that a thing? That makes no sense! Very weird. Gonna bounce in later, gonna catch F1? Alright, Captain Skull. Hey, welcome Benjamin, how's it going? Alright. Anyway, let's have a look at the engine that we got in this big, beefy boy. We have 2 carburetors. 2 two-barrel carburetors. Okay, interesting. That is at least an even distribution of carburetor barrels per thing. Got ourselves a push rod. Got straight up exhaust. 2 valve per cylinder. Not bad. Let's move our way back. At least we don't have all-wheel drive. We're on a ladder chassis. Good and heavy. Okay. A car this old will most probably, unless it's like an expensive car, very much most likely would have had leaf springs for a car of this era. Did they download an actual car? Yeah, you wouldn't download a car. That is a big boot line. I was like, when are we getting to the back? That is, the overhang is absolutely ginormous. It's kind of like a bus. You don't want to be at the back end of a bus when a bus is going around a corner, especially a tight one, because their back end will swing out as they turn tight, and I have seen cars get hit by buses in that manner. Very pushback engine location, that's just how it is from automation. Sounds fine, alright. Automation sucks sometimes, honestly. That is such an annoying thing. Then we got the back here. It almost looks like if it's got a ventilation back here. I'm not sure. But yeah, lots of chrome. I feel as if a car of this era would also have chrome running down the length of the vehicle. I doubt they'd have such an three-dimensional fuel cap coming out as well. Once again, for that whole aerodynamic sort of thing. Then it needs to be 2-ton. It would be so much nicer. If it is 2-ton, that would be great. What's your name, Art of the Boy, in Reddit? Please. The interior, unfortunately, there is none. That's disappointing. Because otherwise, this car seems like it would be pretty good. Oh. Ooh, that's a problem. I mean, I get why you've done it. But I would rather see, like, a weird morph, like, shape change on windshield wipers than it be on the windshield itself. Also, a lot of these cars had a lot of where'd my mouse go? A lot of ventilation along here. That's usually for cabin stuff, a few other things as well. And the final thing is... Sorry, just got things falling down around me. You would have some sort of squirter for the windows, visible, of which you don't have it, which is fine, but it's a bit weird. I also feel as if this door handle might go a little bit lower. I know it could be higher, I don't know. Don't know. Hey, welcome Broken Ursa to the stream, how's it going? Anyway, moving on to this vehicle. I believe this has a very rusty chassis. Oh, no, I must have been thinking of a different vehicle. This one has a very pristine chassis. Okay, just some of it is rusty. If we go up in here, we can see that there's rust inside there. I like the white walls. I feel as if this car would be at the end of white walls, maybe? I don't know. So white walls were like, for a very short period of time in the mainstay. It was either really rich people sort of stuff, and then about 10 years maybe of white walls being common, and then basically out of fashion since then for quite a while. And now they're like super expensive, so nobody ever does it. I didn't import the rusty paint. Ah, so it was meant to be rusty. Supposed to have rusty chassis? That's unfortunate. You're positive. Okay, that's your name. Well, that makes things frickin' easy. Why didn't you tell me? I hate Reddit. All right, let's go through. VW, IM3, U, Urbang, Netflix, or Itch, Yuga, Toilet, EJBMX, Rabby, Lazy Shifter, Capskull, Lawson Street, EJBMX, Tom, Rabby, and Toilet Man. Car apparently didn't show up. So that's the problem there. Unfortunately, sometimes Reddit stuffs up. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry. You can resubmit for next week, though, if you would like. Drum brakes on the front. We've got, some McPherson struts. Interesting. This has got all rust in here. It's very shiny, though. Usually, rust isn't shiny. If you ever want to change how shiny something is, what you would do is you go into your mods folder. You would unpack the mod, hopefully. That'd make things a lot easier on you. Go into your materials section. Find out which material you need. There's ways of doing that. You can watch my video on the complexities of making an F1 car. That'd make it a little bit easier. You go into your main materials. Then we'll scroll down a little bit to find one. You would go in and find your roughness factor. And the values go from 0 to 1. So any decimal point, basically, between the two. For rust like that, you would probably go a 0.9, or maybe just a complete 1. That's up to you. But yeah, that's a way to fix this like shininess that you don't particularly want. You can also do the same thing to the intake manifold as well. Welcome, Casual Gamer. How's it going? Why are you sad? It also wasn't shiny on my end, but run on a lower graphics setting. Ah, fair enough. So you didn't spot that. Okay, weird. That it would do that. Anyway, we got ourselves a flat 4 here. There's so many people obsessed with flat engines. Like, they're incredibly rare. What's there, like 3 companies that have ever done it, and one only got it because it came from one of the other companies? There was also some F1 engines that were kind of flats, but most people never bothered with putting flat engines in cars. You would have liked to have seen Arda's car? Let's go open this up again. Positive ad. Hey, 15 minutes ago? Well, no wonder I didn't do it. It's only been up for 15 minutes. Which means that your car's probably not going to get in next week either. That does look weird. I am going to say that. It looks weird. Is that all you got to show? Alright. Yeah. It's not going to make it into next week because it's probably not like got enough leeway sort of time, and it's probably going to get missed out in the algorithm. Welcome, Danny Zyro. Yeah, so the main flat engine producers are Porsche, Volkswagen, and Subaru. There were a few others that dabbled into it. I believe GM did it for one of their rear-engine cars, and there was another company in America as well that had a company which got really screwed over by the other big manufacturers that like got the government to block extra companies being able to produce cars and whatnot. But they didn't make the engines. They came from helicopters, and they wanted them because they were flat and low, which is better for like a rear engine arrangement if that's what you're going for. Ferrari with the 180, yeah. Ferrari took that engine though from their Formula 1 engines, which is why I said like very few bothered to put those into road cars as well. So that wasn't really a road engine. It was a Formula 1 engine that they had that they decided to adapt and put into a car. Chevy Corvette, that's the one. That flat 6, I believe, came from a helicopter, and they didn't make it themselves at first, at least. Yeah. So, we do have front drive. And it doesn't look like we have rear drive. No, in the rear, we have semi-trailing arm. Interesting. They got the spare tire in there. Nice. Looks like a chunky off-road. What do we got here? That also looks like a fairly hardy sort of tire. Not any sort of medium compound. That's like a fairly industrial sort of tread pattern we got there. Citroen used flat 4 for the Ami, which this engine is trying to emulate. Okay, fair enough. It's just a lot of people are doing flat engines. By the amount of flat engines you see, you'd think that it was like one of the most common engines in the world. That's kind of more what I'm getting at. I'd almost want to go to the stretch of saying, I want more variety. Okay, there is a difference between a flat, a boxer, and a 180-degree engine. Even though I think, what was it, technically 120? Like because of the crankshaft or something? I can't remember. Anyway, it was very weird. Well, the flat 4 does make the funny fart sound. Sure. Alright. Then in here we've got, oh nice, you've got like a folded down seat. You've gone to the extra effort of putting extra details in there and everything. Fancy. Hey, we've got ourselves a firewall shifter as well. That's pretty cool. Pretty happy with a lot of this. Dash is a little bit basic, but it's not too basic. I do like it. I see what you've done here. That is a hood scoop fixture that you've used for your dash there. That's interesting. I might have to steal that at some point. No, they are not the same thing. They never say this to mechanical fan. What? What are we talking about? Welcome, Mr. Froggo, to the stream. How's it going? Passenger seat fold down? Yeah, I think that's pretty cool that they've shown that they've put in the effort for that. Then in the back here, we've got a racing steering wheel. Interesting sort of decision to not have it just on the vehicle when this vehicle has already been desecrated? Is that the word? With like putting fender flares on and stuff like that. Hey, Space Warrior, welcome back. How's it going? Anyway, interesting car. We'll flip it over later to see if the rust is maybe just not showing up because it's face down at the time. Welcome, Jumbo Jacob. How's it going? And rear window sticker? Yeah, I did notice that. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, that's weird. It's a single-sided thing, so it doesn't show up on this side. That's funny. I don't know why automation exports some things as double-sided and some things as other, that aren't. One thing I want to look at is to see if there's a way to make in BeamNG be a material on one side and then a different material on the other side. So then that way we don't have to do like body liners. We could just set the outside to be the normal paint, but then maybe set the inside to be like a more normal sort of paint color. So you don't have to like line it completely with these things, which looks pretty good. Got yourself a little bit of a map light and everything. Nice detail. Well done. Now we're moving on to this thing made entirely of 3D fixtures. I do like how the bonnet, like you haven't really changed it, but you have added things to it, which give it a little bit more of a slanty down sort of look with this hood scoop here, I think, or bulge or whatever. But it still does look very flat. You may like it. It's not my cup of tea. I do like it, but it isn't how I would do it. But yeah. Let's go in and see what we've got in this thing. Hopefully this thing isn't, like, really incredibly oversteery this time, like it was last time, I believe. What do we got here? We got some sports tires. We've got 2 piston vented disc brakes on double wishbone. Nice. No front drive, so we're going complete rear-wheel drive on this thing. And the engine is non-existent. What's happening? We got the exhaust pipes going somewhere. What? Are you trying to hide the engine from me? Really? Huh. That's an odd choice. Sure, I think the part of the reason why they're trying to hide the engine from me is because it doesn't look like there's any room in the back, which this thing last time was rear engine. So this time it would be front engine. But, wait. There's the valve cover things, but not the engine itself. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, we're on this car now. Let's go in. Control W. It is actually meant to have an engine there. Let's try emptying it. And then putting the engine back in. Nope. Okay, great. But we do have a rather small V6 in here. Double overhead cam, V6 1.7 liter. That is a very small engine. Yeah, interesting. I'm assuming this one is going to handle a lot better than last time. And it's doing a weird thing where the steering wheel disappears sometimes. That's something to do with my BeamNG. It's done it for like months now. We'll figure that out later. You can literally see it in the bonnet with the glass. Wait, where is the engine? Engine has gone poof? Yeah, kinda. Bluetooth engine, Wi-Fi engine. Welcome, Spinozilla. How's it going? 5G? Oh no, it's giving me the coronas. F1 wheel, you reckon they've just taken it off to you? Sweet. Interior, pretty good. Very tight squeeze between the two. These seats are not buckety at all. They do not look particularly good for racing. It's also for probably more skinny people than I. But I do like it. Fairly good interior. Uses a lot of good use of shapes in here. I believe a lot of these are good uses of shapes. Otherwise, you've just used pre-made dash maybe. But it looks pretty good in here. Feel the steering wheel might be a little bit high, but anyway. Moving on to this thing with like the really, really weird ass wheels on it. You should open the part selector and look what engine it has more often. That doesn't tell me enough. So I just look at the engine. Also, that is a new thing. They didn't used to have like an actual proper named thing there. Welcome, B-Set Automotive fan. How's it going? No steering wheel? It'll get one later. It's just BeamNG for me is a little bit buggy sometimes. Going in here, we've got drum brakes. Okay. They've tried to make custom suspension. We'll see if that's actually functional later on. Then the engine. Filled with lots of different things in here. They've clearly tried to get a certain look. What can I... It's a dual overhead cam. Interesting. But 2 valve per cylinder. Okay. Strange. What sort of manifolds do we have in here? Okay, I mean, this is an old car from back in the day that's very race orientated, so having a tubular exhaust is acceptable. Basic carburetors though. Okay. It's set for race, which is interesting. There is a lot of mesh in here. Oh my god. What are these fixtures that they've used? Very confusing. Okay. Steering wheels are for the weak. Telekinesis for proper driving. Sounds about right. And welcome, King Cobra. How's it going? Lots of layers. Welcome, Mr. Cheese. How's it going, bro? Car for Jedi, a little bit. What's all the meshing? I think I know what they've done. I think they've used one of my fixtures, but wait. Oh, this is entirely made of 3D parts. There's actually a mod body in the previous version of Automation that had this as a mod body. This is actually all 3D fixtures. So they weren't able to use cutouts here. What they had to do was fit something that was the right shape for them and then place it there three-dimensionally. Yeah. As you can see, this is all different 3D objects here to get the shape that they wanted. Interesting choices. Okay. Then a single-seater. Little bit of a chassis tunnel there. Cool. Basic seat. Then the big sort of fuel tank back here. What do we got for rear suspension? Can we see the rear suspension? Is that independent? Not front suspension. Here we're seeing a solid axle. Is that the only picture of the 51 rear? Got another solid axle here by the looks of it. No, that's a front axle with leaf and spring suspension. Here we've got a diagram of things. That is a solid axle on leaf springs. Here's another one. I don't know if that's the same guy or not, but that is a solid axle. That does look like an old school thing as well. So, the fact that you've chosen independent rear suspension, I'm going to call no on that one and say that this thing probably should have come with a differential that it would have come with. Let's actually make sure. Yep, that is... I broke it. Oops. That is... Yeah, you can see it's adding camber. That is a sign of independent rear suspension. That's a lot of 3D fixtures, yeah, but it got the shape that they want. The Bugatti body has also been updated to 4.27, but I guess this project has been in the works for a while. Oh, okay then, I didn't know that it had been converted yet. So yeah, it probably was done for a while. Welcome, Sword Dressed. How's it going, bro? Interesting work. I probably would have just made a mod body or used a mod body. I probably wouldn't have done this. But it is pretty cool, except for the fact that you used the wrong suspension. Jiggle just a little bit. Let's actually go over to this one. Why is Control T not working? Oh, because it's that car over there. That's weird. Why is it... Oh... There we go. There's the collision mesh. That is a collision mess. Goodness gracious. No wonder this thing is jiggling so much. Yeah, if you want to know how to fix these, I do have a video on how to do this. You just have to look it up, I suppose, because I don't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head. Goodness gracious. That is hellacious. I think they used double wishbone for the bulbous look of the axle? Huh? What? A sports Hellcat is 5-liter V8. What are we talking about? Why has that been brought up? I must have missed something. Then we got this car, which is meant to look all dented and completely natty, which I think is really cool. Very, what's that game? Wreckfest inspired. I've tried to play Wreckfest. I know it's not really my thing, but I think I might do some stuff with it in the future. It looked a lot worse. What? What did? What, the collision mesh for this? Or are you talking about this? Looked a lot worse than what? I'm confused. Anyway, really cool. They've got like even a little bit of story to it. They got the bumper hanging off. Is that... I think this is meant to be like garden hose that they've used to tie it to like a chain or something to stop it from falling off. Interesting work. I like the fact that one of the lights is pointing off in the wrong direction. All really funny things. Really, really love it. Coming in here, we got some rusted old brakes, and these ones are not shiny. So the materials can export correctly. We got ourselves some double wishbone here, and a big chungussy engine. Big V8, compact manifold. Automation, are you okay, automation? Weird. Anyway, 2-barrel carb, not a 4-barrel. Interesting. I personally also wouldn't have just used just a straight cutout for this. I would have used the circle vent and then just made it very flat. And what that would do is, if you make it really flat, is not only just cut you out the circle that you wanted, but also give you a much nicer edge than the jaggedy sort of thing that happens if you use just plain old cutout. I should play Stormworks? I mean, I've looked at it, but it doesn't really do it for me. Oh, garden hose may work, but Real Chads use zip ties to hold their car together. If you have them. I think that part of the air filter can't be hidden. Oh, okay. Then why not line this up with that? I think that would have done a much better job. Anyway, I love the amount of rust. I love the fact that you've also gone a log exhaust. Finally, someone who's not just like, oh, but I just wanted the power. Coming down through a rusty transmission. Okay, so not all, but a lot of transmissions were aluminium, which means a lot of the times they wouldn't rust. Really depends on the year, but I'm pretty sure this one would have come with an aluminium transmission. Back end, yes, would have rusted, but you can't really separate the two colors in automation, unfortunately. Really cool around here. Is that a ladder chassis? No, I think that... Is that a monocoque chassis? I can't tell, because you've got to turn to simplified, I believe. We got ourselves some leaf spring suspension back here. Why does the suspension look different from normal? Weird, it looks very strange. Also, the suspension, very soft. We have ourselves drum brakes in the rear as well. Got some chunky off-road tires. Big, behemoth-y type things. Are you going now, Mr. Froggo? Okay, catch you later, Mr. Froggo. I personally would use square cutout so it would look like it was made... Ah! You're right! Doing square cutout would be good. And using a few different square cutout sort of things so then you can make it look as if it's like, not done straight either. That would be really cool. Love it. Rusted gears definitely won't hide the car performance. What? Proper American car. Holy the amount of detail. There's a lot of detail that they've decided to put in here. Okay, so I get that the front chain may have broken, but you've got the same side the chain is broken on the rear as well. Maybe just have the back be not so bad? I don't know. Just having the same thing on the same side doesn't quite ring in properly. Also, these older vehicles usually have a lot of tuck on the wheels. If you're going to be running a demolition car, you're also still going to want a lot of tuck on those wheels underneath the fenders and whatnot. I know that you're going for like the cutaway look here, but any sort of like collision you're going to have with other people, your tires and wheels and suspension are going to get stuffed up hardcore. So tuck is going to be very good for these sorts of things. I feel that your car would be pretty good except for that. You can run lesser tires. That's absolutely fine. I wanted power. Begins looking at Ruben. Car looks like GTA arena car. Okay, yeah, I get that. Hey, Phil. What way to learn Blender do you recommend to make automation bodies? I want to replicate my real-life car, but there's no fitting body. I've done 2 streams on it now, if you want to look those up. Otherwise, a much more comprehensive way of doing it, though also a lot more complicated way of doing it, is looking at Hard Rooster Labs and starting at the beginning, which is like hours and hours of video to watch. It's such a big deal to bother doing that. Welcome, JSono108. How's it going? I don't know power glitches. Were cast iron in 1963? Oh, okay. Oh, power glides. Ah, the transmissions were made of cast iron. Okay, fair enough. I love the dent at the rear adds more story to the car. Sure, it's a little bit symmetrical though, or like copied. What you could have done potentially is made it uneven and then had the chain go all the way down to it. I think that would have been probably maybe a better way of doing it, making it look as if it was made poorly on the front and on broken on the front and made poorly on the rear. That would be kind of cool. You would use spares for the wheels? Potentially, I don't know. Long time no see. Welcome, Pro Gamer. How's it going? And Perriot Furland. How's it going? let's have a look at the interior of this thing. Big, massive things. And I get the feeling that it didn't line up, and they're like, you know what, let's just cut it out. I think that's kind of cool. That's pretty awesome. Though I don't know why you wouldn't just put that beam a little bit lower. I get the idea that you're trying to say that you cut it out. Are you trying to say that this framework wasn't for this vehicle originally? But it seems to fit so well in every other way. And modifying it probably wouldn't be particularly bad either. I don't get why there's a bar over the top and a bar inside. Wouldn't you have one or the other? I don't know, I'm not much of a demolition person. But it does look pretty freaking cool. I will give you that. Big fan. I love the fact that you've got so much reinforcing in the back. No. I don't think I have ever heard of a race series where you can have the fuel tank, unless like a special fuel tank, in the same passenger compartment. Oh, sorry, the same compartment as the passenger compartment. Generally, there has to be like a dividing wall, which is usually why you'll see fuel tanks in the boot of a car when made for racing. Roof bars for rollover? Then why have the inside? That just seems like to be adding extra weight for not a whole lot of extra gain. This car and mine both have industrial terrain tires. Cool. From 2 streams ago? What are we talking about? Logan? What? No idea what you're talking about. Anyway. Who in here understands Polish? Not I. Please keep it to English in the chat. So you don't have to dent out the roof? I suppose, why not make the roll cage on the outside of the car then? It looks well, I agree. BMG has this for the Derby car, actually. Oh, that's another mistake. They've made plenty of mistakes with their cars. Including the, I think it was... What is it? Hold on. Alt-U, Control-E. Control-E. Clear this out. Group 5 was ended by the time that this car was made. Let's actually have a look at the year, unless they fixed that tidbit of information. Yeah, 1984, Group C and like the lettering nomenclature had taken over years beforehand. I think like 3 or 4 years beforehand. I hate that I have to hit exit 3 times to get out of the car selection menu. That's so annoying. As far as to keep the chassis from bending on side impacts? Sure. I think the... Wait, which car is running? Oh, that one is? Okay. I think recent R5 Rally 2 cars have fuel cells where the rear seats used to be. Usually they're either a very special sort of fuel tank that'll eject downwards or be flexible. All made entirely of clad iron, but generally there's a firewall between them. Usually a lot of people will just use the boot to do that. It's Logan for 2 streams ago? Okay then. The VR stream? Oh dear. Those things were failures. Let's move on to the next one. We've got this thing. Very flat on fixtures, unfortunately, on the front here. I can't think of what, like, this would be closest to. Let's go with, like, McLaren Senna. So, this is probably the closest thing I can think of to what you're looking at here. Notice that there is almost nothing on the front here of these cars. That is not a mistake. That is the best aerodynamics for a hypercar. Here, you've got a little bit of a grille, doesn't even go all the way down, and then you've got a little bit of a thing here with a light in it. It's a little bit basic, unfortunately. Not the biggest fan of the wheels? Of that car or this one? Wait, what were the wheels on this one? Steel cop wheels, love it. These ones, yeah, a little bit peculiar, but I'm not going to say no to them. Anyway, practice on making that all 3-dimensional. Also, your rear vent here, absolutely minuscule. So, Let me put this also in another way that you'll find. Let's go back to the McLaren Senna. Okay. A little bit tricky to explain here. You see that they've got an air intake here, and then they've got an air expulsion here. That is to do a thing called an air curtain. Usually when air hits the front of a car, it creates like a big wake and the air spreads around a lot. But because you're now creating a low pressure system on the side of the vehicle, it's taking a lot of energy from the vehicle in terms of drag to bring that air back around. What you want to do is have like the air just kind of stick to the body. So, air comes in here and then it's directed down here using these air curtains, but not just there. Now this wheel is at an angle, so it's kind of making it a little bit hard to see it. But then we got this extra blade here. This is a hypercar, so not all cars will have this, but you're starting to see these things on BRZs as well. BRZ 2022. Yes, here. So, air curtain here brings the air and it'll drop it out just in front of the front tire, and then just behind the rear tire, it'll do it again. It'll take a little bit of air in, and then it'll drop it out there. That's to stop the air from splaying out too much and keep that air nice and tight down the side of the body. There's other ways of doing it. You can use canards. Does this have canards? No, it does not. Canards are seen as less efficient nowadays, so you'll see canards less and less as time goes on. Usually canards are used only in the types of motorsports where they're where things like air curtains are less possible due to regulations and stuff. Anyway, here you can see they've got a big massive canard here. A canard does a very similar thing as well. It doesn't really create downforce. What it does is on this leading top edge, the air will spin over that and then create vortices that run down the car. What that does is energizes the air, which means that it doesn't want to change direction, which means, one, it won't create drag against the body itself, and also will keep the air in nice and tight down the sides of the car, so then you're not creating that big, like, wake, low pressure system. If you're going to do a supercar, that's something very much to keep in mind. Silver Moonfang, we're only halfway through it looking at the cars before we go on. Lotus Evija doesn't even have much of the front. Which one is the Lotus Evija again? Yeah. As you can see here, missing a lot of the front of the vehicle. A lot of the reasons why you won't see canards on road cars as well is for safety concerns. What was it like? One of the... I think it was a Dodge of some sort, or some American car. I just know it wasn't a Ford. I don't really know many American brands, like, off the top of my head most of the time. Like, I know the names, like Dodge, Chevy, Chrysler, all those sorts of things, but I don't... Like, if somebody talks about one, usually I'll just forget what it is and think, oh yeah, some American car. Because we just don't get them here, so there's not even worth really thinking about them most of the time. They had canards on the front, which in America were fine, but when they tried to take it elsewhere in the world, regulators were going like, no, that's dangerous if you hit somebody. Like, really dangerous. So like, oh, okay, we just won't sell it here. Like, they didn't get rid of them. They didn't bother to do the other options like air curtains or whatnot. They wanted their style, and they just decided not to sell on other markets. Camaro LE, 1LE, maybe. Let's have a look. No, it was much more... Ah, yes, this one. Okay, yeah. These canards got the car banned in... I believe it was first in Europe, and then other places as well. Lotus Evija is the 2,000 horsepower. Yeah, I thought it might have been. I just wanted to make sure, because all of the names now are just starting to blend together in my head because they're making so many different cars now. It used to be that would just be like 2, maybe 3 cars at a time. And they've made a lot of cars and a lot of things recently. The big trunk splitters on the production cars is a great way to defeat your enemies. Haha, take them out of the ankles. Car looks like Pagani, huh? At least in the body. What are we talking about? I don't know what this Pagani is. I've never really been a big fan of Pagani, to be honest. I think their cars look a little bit garish. Actually, a lot garish. Oh, you mean the Huayra? I think this version of the Pagani Huayra is one of the more bland and just a little bit ugly hypercars, or supercars, sorry, to have ever been made. Just not a fan of it. This, I don't know, I still just don't like it. I thought the Zonda looked cool, but weird when I ever first saw it in Gran Turismo. And then, as time went on, I started to realize that I just didn't like the look of the Pagani Zonda. It looked weird and wacky and cool, but not good. They were just weird cars. So let's have a look at the Pagani Zonda. I know, I just don't like the look of a Pagani Zonda. They look disproportionate and strange. Really detailed, but not really. The back end is, I think, where it loses all of its points. The front is passable, but the rear just always looked very strange. Anyway, that's my 2 bobs worth on them. The Spiker, oh my god. I think the Spiker is cool, but I hate it. It's so ugly. I mean,